Good evening, everyone. I'm Leslie Marin. Pat Harvey is off tonight. Well, more bad news for Hollywood tonight. A new report shows TV and film production work in Southern California continues to dry up. KCAL political reporter Tom Waite is live in Burbank with more on a call from California lawmakers for a lifeline, Tom.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Leslie. Things are very dire in Hollywood. Talk to anyone who works in the industry or works in a business that's impacted by the industry, which is so many here in Southern California. But people are not giving up hope, but they say action is needed now. Hollywood in crisis. Film and TV production in LA is sliding deeper into the abyss. New numbers from Film LA show shoot days dropped 22% in the first quarter of 2025 compared to the first 3 months of 2024. Dismal numbers that continue a trend, but one that's getting even worse.
Welcome to the show.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. As you see, Hollywood is struggling pretty bad now. I think it has a lot to do with Gavin Newsom. A couple years ago, he should have enacted these tax incentives for them. Now he's doing it a little too late. And, you know, production's moved everywhere else now. It's been in Cleveland, it's been in Pittsburgh, it's been in Detroit, Atlanta, overseas in England. They're getting a lot of that movie money now. I remember about 20 years ago, I lived in California. I lived in Hollywood, and everything was concentrated there. Everybody moved from different places because that's where all the opportunities are. But it seems like now you could just be a hometown person and actually do Hollywood type things from your own hometown. You could just get a manager and they could book you in movies. You don't even have to go to Hollywood. So you see in this video I'm about to share, a lot of the sound stages are empty now. And a lot of the people are struggling, and that's the people who do sound, the people that do lighting and things like that. They're the ones that are really struggling because they're stuck in Hollywood with all these high taxes, high rents, and now there's no money coming in. And now Gavin Newsom wants to be president, so he wants to come and do the same thing to America, you know, drive business away. That's what Democrats do, unfortunately. But let's take a look at the rest of this. This is going to be a pretty long video, and it's pretty sad, actually, because I remember when I was a kid, we had Tom Cruise, we had Brad Pitt, Keanu Reeves, Denzel Washington, all these great actors, and they're good-looking guys. You know, women talked about them around the water cooler. But nowadays, no one even knows who these actors are. They could win an Oscar, and you won't even know who they were. Back in the days, everybody paid attention to that, but it's like such a big, broad thing now. There's so many different media outlets and apps and things that it's hard to really keep track of them with Netflix and things like that, and YouTube and that. But anyways, guys, this is a pretty long video. It's pretty sad, and let's get into it.
I was just at a meeting on one of the lots, and to not be dodging around forklifts, it's astounding the lack of production that's going on right now in Los Angeles.
So here we are, we're inside of an empty soundstage,
wow,
actually one of the larger ones. As you can see, production has left California.
The numbers tell the story. Have a look at total LA shoot days for 2024. Now look at 2025, it's down over 16%.
Wow.
Compare this to 2016, when shoot days were at their recent peak.
Whoa. That's double.
Some of it has gone to other states, but the majority of it has gone outside of the US to places like the UK, London, places like Australia, New Zealand, and other countries with more aggressive tax incentives.
Goldman Sachs foreclosed on Radford Studios, a very famous film studio in Los Angeles, because it just wasn't making the payments on its debt.
Bet you they paid the taxes to Gavin Newsom.
The industry, and ultimately the buck stops at the box office.
The movie business is really in a long-term stagnation, at least in terms of cinemas. People aren't going out as much to the movies.
The average American now goes to fewer than 4 movies a year. Just a decade ago, I think that was closer to 5.
Ticket sales were doing pretty good until, once again, COVID. And they never fully recovered, remaining nearly $3.5 billion lower than 2018.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Sure, people don't leave the house anymore, but there's binge watching. That's got to be a bonanza, right?
This was an industry that had a decade-long boom fueled by the arrival of streaming and the growth of new streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon, followed by Disney and Paramount Plus and HBO Max.
The idea then was like, let's spend as much money as possible on movies and TV shows so we can get as many customers and win this streaming battle.
That came to a crashing halt in 2022.
Everyone was losing billions of dollars.
Wow.
And then in 2023, you saw the strikes by actors and writers.
I remember that.
And that was really a turning point because the
You're already
studios
losing
figured
money,
out
just
they
make
could
it
get by
worse.
with a whole lot less. So they cut staff, they cut their spending on movies and TV shows.
You're in bad shape.
They were being stingy with that work back then. I bet you they ain't like that now. Good old Hollywood.
Yes, Hollywood is very fancy celebrities. There's a lot of very wealthy people who are very fabulous, but the people that I know, they are writers, they are producers, they're directors, they're grips and electricians, and they are trying to pay rent, and they're trying to keep food on the table.
Actually brought my
Very
own slate.
expensive.
So,
Oh.
there.
Yeah, that's okay.
In the last 25 years, I've done production sound for everything from broadcast news to feature films. Check.
And the Oscar goes to Whiplash.
Thanks, Mike and Dave. I won the BAFTA and the Oscar for Best Sound Mixing for Whiplash.
Wow.
Compared to the heyday, things have gotten pretty bad. In 2025, I had 10 union days of work.
What?
You could say that I'm a
whole
canary
year?
in the coal mine because when sound people aren't working, it means that nobody's working.
That's true. You need sound and light guys.
I'm a writer for television and movies. It's been very, very, very difficult. The industry you worked in changed fundamentally overnight. I've had to take a demotion and go back to working as an assistant, the level that I was at before I became a staff writer.
I went from being at the top of my career, and then all of a sudden the rug was pulled right out from underneath, not just me, but everyone I know. And it's heartbreaking. I've had to take a lot of step backs. I work part-time at World Market. You know, I got a seasonal job there during Christmas, and thank God they decided to keep me.
A lot of people are digging into their retirement savings. You have to live.
Amidst this ominous lack of work, major studios have been trending towards mega mergers for their survival, which, needless to say, isn't helping.
There's been one big deal after another. The companies that have done the big deals have generally suffered from a profitability perspective, but also just from a stock price perspective. And people are really worried about too much consolidation.
Well, in my point of view, I lose a buyer. You look at Netflix, you look at Warner Brothers, you look at Paramount, you look at Fox, they're all buyers. While Warner Brothers can still run as Warner Brothers always ran, I'm losing places that I can take content to. And then, of course, you have job loss as well. Then you have studios restructuring.
Content.
It's a never-changing cycle.
What's eating you?
There's little doubt that the culprit behind all this change is tech.
Yep.
You have a camera in your pocket with a phone. All this editing software is cheaper than it used to be. And AI should only accelerate this because it's just going to be much easier for people to make stuff.
Yep,
There's more content being produced and released than ever before. We're all exhausted by it. And that puts a tremendous amount of power in the handful of platforms that have audiences.
This is a profound period of change in an industry. It's not unlike maybe what newspapers have been through, radio.
Tech comes in and they break these existing models that have worked for decades.
Pretty dumb on its own.
Happened with Airbnb, it's happened with Uber. Money is flowing upward to a very concentrated point at the top. Everybody in the ecosystem, from the end user to the provider, ends up suffering. And that's what happened in Hollywood.
You're under the age of 18 years old. The majority of what you watch is on TikTok and YouTube. YouTube owns over 13% of connected TV audience, which has grown year over year significantly.
Let's have a closer look at the data. Here's Nielsen's numbers for how much TV time YouTube has been grabbing from the streamers between 2022 and 2025.
movies are no longer the center of Western culture the way that they once were. I think that that's pretty evident and apparent in a lot of consumer behavior.
The days of the A-list star system that carried the box office isn't tracking anymore.
There's no longer like the gatekeepers of Hollywood.
Which is good.
That's the beauty of the technology that we're in right now, is like it kind of opened the aperture to allow anyone to create. Because some of those storytellers are so good, they're getting a lot of attention on YouTube.
Yeah.
The good thing is you can publish anything you want. The bad thing is you're not being compensated for it. It is a massive grind in order to monetize that. For every Mr. Beast that's out there really crushing it, there's a million other creators that are never being seen.
It's very lean in terms of how all these creators are actually getting stuff done.
He said,
hey! And I like to say a lot of these people are woke, and that's why they're in this situation.
One camera operator,
they
one
are
editor,
from California,
maybe a production
LA.
manager. There's no like sound person. There's no crew. And I think it's been a hard transition.
And even these scaled down productions could go the way of the dodo. AI's ever-evolving image creation is poised to remove the need for sets, cameras, crews, even writers and actors.
there is no way but forward.
I know a few managers that are driving Uber.
I've been struggling with a plan, to be honest.
Do I feel like this is the end of my career as an editor? I don't know.
Well, there you go, guys. Hollywood is dying a slow but inevitable death. No matter what they say and the hope, it's really gone. It can't return. It's not going to ever be the way it was. Not even 10 years ago. Not, for sure, not 20 years ago. We're not going to see those stars anymore. Like I said, you could win an Oscar and the next morning nobody knows who you are. No one's even seen the movie because it's just, the audience is so spread out now. It's just, that's just how it is. And there's no returning to that, because now, like you said, you know, you got guys like me who are in my bedroom making news. There's guys like me that do the same thing I do but get, you know, hundreds of thousands of views per video, which is more than CNN. And one day I hope to be like that. I'm very small now, but you know, you got a bunch of guys like me out there that are working hard and trying to do cool shows and do something different. But yeah, anyways, thought you guys would enjoy that. Rest in peace to Hollywood, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Please subscribe, comment, and like. Peace.